We're gonna start off by capturing the gesture. What's that mean?
It's like the pose.
That's right. And it's gonna be the pose and the draw. It's like trying to capture the movement, okay? So let's just draw his action line, which is kind of like a line like this. Now draw lightly, kids. These are just lines to help us guide us, okay? Draw an arc to represent his action, okay? So he's arcing this way. We're gonna draw a 3/4 view. We're also going to think about his basic shapes, which is, what is his basic shape, mostly?
Triangles.
And what else?
And like an egg shape.
That's right. So let's draw like an egg shape or a sort of a potato shape, right? So see that I'm drawing a potato shape here, right? Look at that. Let's have fun with it. Let's draw a big potato shape. And see how I'm drawing lots of lines? You don't have to draw perfectly now. That's the fun of it. No pressure, all right? Okay, so just get a potato shape. So it's kind of like wider here and smaller here, or an egg shape. You can think of it either way. Okay, so let's get his legs in. I want to draw, okay, before we do the legs, let's figure out where the center line is, where the center of his body is. We're going to put a center line right here. See, I'm just drawing a sort of a curvy line coming down here. See how it's more of this side showing than this side? That's because we're going to draw our character turning this way. So you notice how when I turn my hand this way, you see more of this hand and less of this hand? Well, that's what's happening here, okay? So we're going to think about our character in 3 dimensions, okay? So he's in perspective. All right, so let's draw his leg here. I want to draw his leg sticking out at us. And his leg's going to look bigger on this side because when he's closer this way, to see this side is turned this way. So this side's closer to us. And when something is closer to us, it's going to look bigger. Watch what happens to my hand when it gets closer to the camera. It's getting bigger. But you know my hand isn't really growing. And when it goes farther away, it's getting smaller. So we're going to keep that in mind when we're drawing. So let's draw his legs right here. And I would say, let's just draw a round sort of cylindrical shape. Kind of like a cylinder shape right here. All right, and it doesn't need to be perfect. We can refine it later. And it's going to be a circular shape underneath here into a sort of a square shape here for his feet, okay? All right, and you see I didn't even lift my pencil up when I'm drawing. I just kept it down. So that helps you to draw more loosely and like more gesturally, okay? So now I'm going to draw his other foot, which is kind of round here like this. His other leg, I mean. Drawing his other leg is kind of round, okay? You need to use your best friend, you can. And there's his foot's going to stick out like this. Again, sort of a square shape. And we can put in some triangles here like that for his toes or his claws. See that? I'm just drawing very loosely right now, nice and loose. Okay, there we go. All right. Now we're going to draw his arms. I would say his arms are going to be, let's put them right about here. Okay, and they're going to be like this. Nice big arms. He's a powerful guy. Powerful character. Tyranitar! Alright, okay. There we go. So it's sort of so you can see it's a cylinder shape. So it's kind of like, you know, a cylinder, okay? Wider in the top and thinner, and it gets a little bit thinner here, okay? And now we're going to draw some details here to separate his arm. So starting from here, you can go like that. A line across, that's his shoulder. Another line across, that's his bicep and tricep. And this bottom part is going to be his forearm, okay? All right, now I'm going to do on this side here, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to make it, it's going to be more hidden because think of this as like his chest. It's blocking part of his arm. And it's because it's farther away from us, it looks smaller, even though it's not really smaller. So we're going to do that on this side too, okay? And I'm going to draw a couple lines here to represent the parts of his arm, and a triangle here for his fingers. Okay, you can draw a few or a couple because some of the fingers are hidden, or the claws are hidden, okay? Now we're going to separate his upper torso, which is, it's kind of like a, they're kind of triangular shapes. So see, I'm coming up like that. So see, you bring a line up to the middle point. See the center line here, right? And you see how it's kind of like, but this one is going to come stretch out more. It's going to be wider. because it's in perspective, because his body's turned, so it just looks that way. Okay, it's going to come up to about here, and then it's going to come up, and then it's going to come over here, and right like that. Okay? So you see there's like triangular shapes. There's like a triangle or the letter W, see? Okay? There we go. All right, now we're going to bring another line down here. It's sort of a diamond shape. So to come down to the middle. See, always go to the center line, right? It's good to know where, it's important to know where the center of his body is, and then come up like that, up to about here. Okay? And now we're going to think about, we're going to put some lines across here. Now remember, he's three-dimensional. These lines help us feel that he's three-dimensional. See these lines? We make them curve like that. So it makes it feel like he's three-dimensional. We're going to curve lines this way to show that he's three-dimensional. Okay? They're also part of the details of the character. So a line like that, another line like that, and another line like that. Alright? We're going to put in some more details now. He's also got these sort of triangular shapes. He's got a lot of triangle details. So a triangular shape right here. It's like a triangular shape like that. Another triangular shape underneath it, a little bit smaller, like that. And then over here, we're going to do another triangular shape over here, like this. Another triangular shape here, like this. Now make these triangles more smaller because they're kind of like hidden. They're hidden. And I actually may have made them a little bit too big. You want to make them kind of like you can barely see them because his body is turning. See, look what happens when you turn. You see how you see less of this hand? Look, see this hand here? Look what happens when you turn it. You see less of it. Okay? So that's what's happening here. This is called a 3/4 view. All right? So now look at that. We've got like an egg shape or potato shape with legs and arms. Isn't that awesome? What do you guys think? Yeah. See? Basic shapes. Okay. Okay, let's do his head now, okay? So let's see. So from up to about here, we're going to put the bottom of his jaw, which is a line like this. It's going to come like this and come up. And then it's going to overlap over here, the upper part of his mouth, into his nose. And then like this, into a triangular shape here, like that. Into the top of a top spike here. And then another spike here. Coming down. You see that? You can just, in pencil, you can just draw over your lines here, right here, like that, and then into a spike right here. Okay, we'll come back to the back here. Let's continue with his face features. All right. So then we're gonna put a little dot, a little line here for his nostril, you know, and then over here we're gonna, following that nostril line, we're gonna put his eye line in, and also look. Okay, so right here, when I put his eyes, which is a line, it's like a triangle shape too, but just look at the way the angles is. It's pointing towards here, and then a circle here for his pupil, and then the line comes down like that. Okay, now you can adjust some of the lines if you need to. You don't have to. You can leave it the way it is, but I want to adjust mine. I just want to bring up this spike a little bit higher. See, that's the great thing about working in pencil. You can erase. Nothing wrong with erasing, kids. Okay, so see that? See this line here? We want to make, see this line at the top of his eye? We want to make it almost match this line. So you don't have to do that. This is your version of the character. There can be slight differences, but this is what I'm doing here. Okay? So you see that line here? Top of his eye, it matches this line here, and then it comes into over here like that, and then it sticks out into one spike here. Okay, now over here, the top of his jaw here, we're going to bring this line here, right here, like that. We're doing his mouth now. So about, you see where his pupil is? See, that line's going to stop right about there, and we're going to come down on an angle like that, and then we're going to come around like that. We're going to come right around like that. We're just basically just following these lines that we already put down. They're just matching the outer lines. See that? Okay. Now we're going to do his tongue, which is, what shape is his tongue?
A circle.
That's right. It's kind of a circle, but it's hidden. like that. Just go like that. And we're going to put his fangs in, which are what shape?
Triangles.
That's right. Stick in some triangle shapes right about here. And another one would be right about here. And then another one would be right about here. And another one is right about here. Okay? There we go. Okay, now we're going to do the rest of his spikes. So we're going to start from the last spike we have here. And do another spike like that. Okay? And then we're going to do another spike like that. And what shape are his spikes?
Triangles.
See that? They're triangular shapes. Just draw loosely right now. We can always erase or draw over your lines. Draw light, nice and loose and light. Okay, another line here. And then another line, another triangle here. Notice how one is shorter, one is longer. Okay? Now over where his arms are, we're going to put another triangle shape right about here. A little bit a smaller one here. And now we're going to do his tail. Okay, so right about here is a triangle. And then another bigger triangle. They're just a bunch of triangles. And then another triangle sticking out like this. And come around and down here. That's going to be his tail. And we're going to do a rocket shape. Now, if I'm going too fast, kids, you can always pause the video and rewind it and watch it again. Or you can watch the video as many times as you want. You can try drawing this many times as you want. Practice makes
perfect.
But don't worry about perfect. It doesn't matter. It definitely doesn't need to be perfect. The most important thing is to
have fun.
That's right. And the more you have fun, the more you'll want to
draw.
That's right, which is actually practicing, which means you automatically will get
better.
That's right. Okay, so now we're going to get into the next stage. Okay, so now that we've got our general details in and everything, we're going to refine our drawing now. So step 1 is get the whole pose down and get everything rough. Step 2 is we're going to start refining things. So what does that mean? That means we can draw over our lines and draw the line. You can draw things. You start off with basic shapes, but you can draw the lines in a little bit more accurately to capture the little nuances in the shape, the little subtle curves in the shape. You don't have to do that. You can just still keep it basic. Okay, so now I'm just kind of like darkening lines. I'm just like putting deep, I'm refining it. So the next stage is to refine your drawing. Okay, you can double check your proportions. What does proportions mean?
Like how big or small something is.
That's right. You can make any changes right now before we go into the next stage. Okay, and I'm just darkening lines here so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm refining the shape. I know the shape comes down like this and come around like that. Notice how I come down like that and come like that. Okay. All right, now I'm doing his leg shape here. Okay, so I'm refining his leg shape. I start off with a basic shape, but now I'm trying to get a little bit more accurate to how it really is. And I'm turning my paper if I need to get nice curves. See that? I'm drawing long, fluid lines instead of little hairy lines, because otherwise your drawing will look hairy. You want to draw confidently, long, confident lines, and that'll just make your drawing look better. Okay? All right, so now see, I'm just drawing over it so you can see the shapes more clearly, and I'm refining everything. Okay, here we go. See that? I'm drawing more darker now. You can see everything more clearly. Okay. Oh, let's put some more details in. Now we start off in basics, basic general shapes, and now we get more detailed. Don't focus on details in the beginning. Focus later on them. So now close to the side of his leg here, we're going to draw little triangles like this. Okay, and another triangle, this time this way. So look at the direction of the triangles. They're just triangles in different directions and different sizes. Okay, all right, there we go. All right, now on this side here, I'm going to refine this side now. Okay, and I'll put in a little extra detail here too, which is kind of a curve like this. Kind of curves like that. And notice how I have lots of lines here. It doesn't matter because we're drawing rough right now. This is not the finishing stage. We have a stage for that. Right now we just draw rough and loose. And now we're refining the shapes. See, I'm making the triangle shapes a little bit more like claws. You can leave them as basic triangles. It's okay. Everybody draws different. You can keep it basic. No, nothing wrong with that. And if you see something you want to change, you can change it. See, I just get out my best friend here, my eraser, and I can do that. I just want to bring that in a little bit, okay? Okay, I'm checking them over. And if you like what you got, then we're going to move to the next stage, which is our
Inking stage.
That's right! Now you can grab an ink pen. Anything will do, a fine liner or a Sharpie, and you can ink over your drawing. Now if you don't have an ink pen, that doesn't mean we can skip the stage. What we do next is we get our eraser and we put it flat and we lighten everything down. Now you should lighten it down so that you can still see it. Now you can do it a lot more than what I'm going to do if you're going to do it with pencil. You don't need to use an ink pen. You can just sharpen your pencil, nice and sharp, okay? You sharpen your pencil. So in the beginning, don't use a pencil too sharp because we're just drawing loose. We want the pencil to move quickly and loosely, right? Sharpen your pencil, and then you're going to draw your lines over top as if you were inking it. So see, look, you erase it down so you can barely see it. See that? And now we're going to draw nice and perfectly. So that means we're not doing hairy lines. We're not doing sketchy lines. We're doing perfect lines. But we're going to hold it. Now we hold the pencil a little bit more firm. And we're going to do long fluid lines rather than short little lines, okay? So look, just one little line like that. It's one straight line like that. See that? Long, confident lines as if you were inking it. See that? It's just the same as, now look at that. You see how clean that looks? This is how you do your finished drawing. But we have an ink pen, so we're going to do it with ink, okay? So grab out your ink pen, and we're going to do the same thing with ink. All right. I think it's about time now to...
Time lapse.
That's right. 3, 2, 1, time lapse! Okay, now we're gonna go into our
Coloring stage.
That's right. Now you can use anything you want to color this with. You can use pencil crayons, you can use felts as we've got here. But we're gonna decide to use pastels this time. These are oil pastels. So here we go. Alright, so here we go. So what color is he mostly?
Green.
Start off with a darker color first. Alright? And I'm gonna put in where I think his shadows are gonna be. Okay, so I think underneath his neck here would be some shadows because it's gonna be his big head's gonna be casting a shadow. This is called a cast shadow. Okay, so you know how you see your shadow? That's called a cast shadow because you're casting it. When the light blocks something, it causes a cast shadow. So I'm just shadowing that in, okay? All right, and now I'm gonna put another shadow right about here. The bottom of his leg, usually near the bottom is a shadow because the light comes from the top. We're gonna always think about the direction of your light source. So let's say I'm gonna think the light's coming from this side, which means the shadow is gonna be which side?
The other side.
That's right. So if it's coming from this side, that means shadow is gonna be the other side. If it's coming from the top, also, it's coming from the top. That's why the shadow's underneath. See? Okay, so that's how we're going to do it. We're going to think of it simply. I put some shadows underneath these spikes here. That's why I'm going to shade that in a little bit. I'm starting dark to light in this case. All right? Putting the shadows in. All right. See that? Just put in some shadows. Okay. So I'm putting some shadows here too. Okay, so coming from this side here. And he's kind of a round, sort of a circular shape. So we want where there's gonna be a core shadow, sort of a dark. That just means a dark part of the shadow. It's gonna be right about here. It's gonna be right about here. And then also these forms here are gonna have shadows. Here's another cast shadow caused by the top of this spike here. Okay. A little bit of shadow here. Again, some shadow right here. Okay. All right. And the corner of his mouth, we can have a little bit of shadow here. All right. A little bit more shadow here. All right. Okay, so that he's kind of round. So a little bit more. I'm putting some more shadow right here. And around underneath his arm here, he's casting shadows from his arm. It's sort of a round shape, so I'm feeling that roundness. Shadow all over here. And then it's shadow over here. Leading right up to this shadow here. Okay? So this is his core shadow here. This is his dark, this is the dark part of, this is the darkest part of his shadowing right here. Okay? Alright, now put a little bit more shadow on the bottom of his arm here. And I'll put a little bit of shadow right about here too. Just to make him feel rounder. Because his arm is turning away from the light here. We're going to make the light hit here. Okay, and now let's do this arm here. Shadow on the bottom here, right here. And you can make it kind of like round. You see that? Make it round. Follow the form, kids. So it's color the direction of the form. So if the form is round, color round. Instead of going side to side, because that's not following the form, it'll make your object look flat. So you want to make things look round where they're round. Follow the form. And put a little bit more shadow here. And around the back here. So this kind of like his legs casting shadows down here. And light's coming from this side anyway. Okay, oh, here there's going to be some shadow here too. Because his upper part of his leg is casting down on the bottom here. Okay. You can put some on the side of his foot if you want. Put a little bit more here to separate. All right. Okay. All right, now let's get a lighter green. Now you see you just start off with a darker green for his shadows. I'm going to just get a lighter green. And now I'm going to just fill in all the other areas. Actually, before you fill in all the other areas, keep in mind we get a yellow as well. Because I'm going to put, for his brightest highlights, where the brightest light are, I'm going to put a little bit of yellow here. I'm going to mix, and that's going to mix in with the green. Now you don't have to do this, but you can if you want. Just a little bit of, this is his brightest areas. I want to capture that with a little bit of yellow. Now the green is, now use this green to go over the yellow, and that will blend. You see that? Look at how it's blending. Then it won't be so yellow. See that? There you go. Look at that. It's blending now. Okay. Just that right over the top here. Remember the lights are on the top. So let's do his highlights first, actually. I'm going to use a yellow marker pen here. You could have just gone all over everything with green and you'd be done. But I'm adding a little bit more, making it look a little bit more interesting here like this. I'm putting his brightest highlights here like this over the tops, because where does the light come from?
The top.
That's right, and it's coming from the left in this case as well. So think the left and think the top. Always think about the direction of your light. And this is going to be his brightest highlight right here. I'm bringing that right down like this. Okay. And let's see here on. This is his core shadow here. Okay, I'll put some light right here. Because this light's coming from this side, so I'm gonna put some light on this side here. And I'll put some more light also on his leg here on this side, because the light's coming from the
top.
And what other side's coming from? The left. The light's coming from the left. Okay. All right. So now let's shade in. Now you see I'm just gonna blend these in now with the lighter green. So we started with the darker green. So we started with the darker green. Now I'm going to the lighter green. Put in some yellows. And that's the nice thing about pastels. They blend. And they also cover quite a bit of area quickly. Are you having fun coloring?
Yep.
All right. What I've done here is I've taken a darker green here, the darker green, and shadowed in a little bit more shadow here, and see you can see it's all around here. And I've just kind of taken a little bit lighter green, and I've blended everything in, and over the areas that are yellow, I've just kind of gone over it a little bit so it's not so yellow. And I've also taken the black one, a black past color, and I've also black pastel, and I've also went over this upper torso here to create more shadow to make it stand out more. And you don't have to do any of these things, but you can if you want to. All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed drawing Tyranitar with us.
See you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe.